Collective, it's August 13th, 2025, and we're going to check right in with Spirit and get you another message. Message for the collective, please Spirit, message for the collective. In the central energy, we've got the Eight of Wands reversed. A missed opportunity. Somebody may be panicking. In the challenge position, the King of Swords. In the subconscious, we've got the Five of Swords. King of Swords knows the truth about a bully and a thief. They're panicking. In the recent past, we've got the Nine of Swords. Somebody's having a nightmare. They can't sleep, perhaps. Intentions and expectations. Four of Wands. Freedom. Celebration about a reunion. They're so upset. They're desperate to trap on that which they have fumbled. In the near future. Death. The lens is being looked through. The Chariot. In the environment, the Strength card came out and then flipped into the reverse. So again, with the lack of energy, hopes and fears, we've got the Hierophant here, and the outgoing energy. Two of Wands. On the bottom of the deck, we've got Seven of Swords. You're standing up for yourself, you're maintaining control and disconnecting from trickery and fraud. You are an earth angel and there is a celebration here. These ones are being restricted from you and your essence and your energy, your life, and they are in fear about it. You persevered. You're coming into the rewards for your survival of an impossible path that these ones are trying to claim and take credit for, and you're going to be sharing the wealth here. Because you are able to balance many things, and that's why you deserve this Ten of Pentacles here, this divine love. You're not just out here pretending. You actually have the guts of the testimony, the success here. You're not just a pretender dressing up in somebody's memory. So you're planning for the future here with the Two of Cups. You've got your boundaries up to the illusionists. King of Wands is overcoming challenges and cutting people out dependent on the truth of the history, and that's justice being delivered for the High Priestess, the actual High Priestess, not the one who is wanting to pretend. And this is your hard work is gaining you a Knight of Pentacles here. Now they know this and they're coming after it hard. These illusionists, these body snatchers, these red rummers, professional memory stealing destiny thieves. They are out there stalking seers and oracles and psychics who are advertising themselves by putting out the message. They want to stop what you're saying and they want to command that influence. They think what you are saying is noise that must be limited. So there's a frustration here. There could be a frustration. Somebody's in panic. Somebody's panicking because the King of Swords is here and knows the truth about what's going on. Yeah, they're in a tower. So there's panic here because somebody is in a tower. The King of Swords is here. He knows the truth. He's wielding that sword with authority. So they're looking for a new way to communicate here. He's got clarity and he knows the truth about this Page of Swords. We've got the Five of Swords energy here. So they were trying to bring conflict to you. They're still trying to bring conflict. They're getting a tower. They're panicking. Yeah, because they were trying to butt in on your reward, on your life of luxury, on this reward that you're getting because you survived the impossible life path that these vampires had you on. They did not think you were ever going to make it out. You were not supposed to. They were certain of it. It was impossible, and yet you did it anyway. So now we got some folks out here that are desperately wanting to step in. They're waiting for the arrangements to be made to step into your memories while they get rid of you, right? They're in a freaking nightmare here in the recent past. It's like, oh crap. Oh crap, because you got this beautiful future ahead of you. So yeah, they're like, oh crap, we got the Emperor in the reverse. There's a nightmare for a dominator tyrant. Somebody's in despair over their reckless behavior. They're thinking about your freedom and your guaranteed future here based on your work and your effort. You made the investment, and there's death here. Let's see, what's going on with this death? It's an end of a cycle. But they're not giving up, and they're not stopping, and they're still very much an irritant. So we got travel plans, and it's an end of a cycle, and there's travel plans going on. The Chariot here, victory, forward momentum. Double freaking Chariot. Somebody's in strength reversed. They're feeling weak. Their emotion is like, they're struggling with emotion. Somebody's struggling with their pride over your union, over your connection. They're very insecure. The Hierophant is here. Hopes and fears. The Hierophant is there. And a celebration. Bringing about a celebration. We've got the Two of Wands on the outgoing energy. making travel plans. You got the King of Pentacles. We got the curator talking to folks out there in the thing, asking again about Divine Feminine's sensitivities and her, whether or not she's jealous. They're trying to pawn her off as a wife or a slave of some freaking masculine out there in the freaking telepathy land. And, you know, some of them have multiple wives and they're like, ooh, you know, and then they want to do all these horrible things once they get a hold of her. But it's not going to happen. And I cannot believe that after everything this curator has been accused of and convicted of, he's fallen from grace, and yet he's still out there trying to wheel and deal in the human energy and life path, destiny, and reward. You got a new beginning here. Most High God is giving it to you. Protected by the King of Wands and the King of Swords. They know the truth and they're very passionate about keeping their future. These ones have been destroying the reputation of Divine Masculine. They're nothing but a bunch of losers, man. Siphoning, parasiting, vampiring off of the mother. And they're very, very cruel about it. And these ones, they want to talk about the irresponsibility of Divine Feminine, but yet these guys go out there and use their wand, their phallus, as a weapon of war, and they create children, and they don't even go out and buy the children diapers or feed them or nothing. And they have the balls to call Divine Feminine irresponsible. I'm sick of it. Sorry, I'm feeling a little emotional right now. Can you tell? We've got, somebody's feeling very ambitious regarding the rebirth of Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, and the High Priestess. It's like this trickery. Look, we got some little schwankster coming in though, wanting to betray somebody with the love offer because they got divorced out of your loving cup. And your boundaries up, you're maintaining control, which is causing them a painful ending, and the cycle is closed. You're entering into, the stars are entering into divine love. You're moving away from this crap, and they're being restricted out of your energy, and they don't know what to do. They gotta freaking watch out for this Divine Feminine. She knows the damn truth about everything. These guys are like, I heard Divine Masculine say, you can sue the mother, but the mothers are right. We all know the patterning of the present collective of this masculine parasite. We've got Queen of Pentacles here, a supportive mother figure. This could be Divine Mother herself or protectress or whatever that means to you. Kali, looking at the history of the magicians who have been doing trickery. Forbidden magic is what they've been using against magical as well as non-magical people. The Divine stated that they were brown hats using forbidden magic. The wheel is turning. We've got the truth out here, and stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. This is happening all over the world. There's an enterprise. So this competition has been going on all over the world. It is seen very clearly. There could be some sort of tension, some sort of expansion. The first stages of completion regarding this conflict. Somebody's getting disconnected. They're in despair. They're like, oh crap. They're in this freaking Ten of Swords energy, or sorry, Nine of Swords energy, which is out here in the recent past too, regarding this tyrant dominator wannabe. Excuse me. Yes, because we've got this King of Cups, the love of Divine Masculine, is using his skillful will to provide security on the foundation of the Empress, of the Divine Mother. I appreciate y'all being here with me today. It's always nice because I know that eventually you're going to be over there and if I'm having a rough time of it, all I got to do is sit down here and read the cards and make myself feel better, knowing that maybe it'll help you feel better also. So somebody is feeling bad. They don't have any energy. They're panicking here. They got an 8 of Wands in the reverse, followed by a Tower. So there's a sudden change happening here. Growth. There's a lot of growth, expansion of consciousness and awareness. So it's like the field has widened, and it's like more and more people are becoming aware of what's been going on, this trickery that has been fouling their life's experiences, and it's causing a Tower for someone. They're in a freaking panic. They're like, oh crap. They're like, oh crap. But the King of Swords, he's got mental clarity, and he knows the truth regarding Page of Swords energy, this restless mental energy. He knows what's going on. He might be offering some advice to this younger masculine, or I say masculine, and it's masculine on the card. Please, once again, do what you need to do with the genders. So he's got mental clarity about what's going on. He might be trying to give the younger masculine advice, you know, and offer him an opportunity. I heard the other day, I heard him say, for your entertainment will be that. And I heard a younger adult masculine say, well, yeah, like it was a great idea. So it's like there's a King of Swords here. He's very much in tune with the truth of what's happening here. And it's like he's trying to guide these younger ones, try to figure out how to communicate, beneficial for everyone. This is, let's move forward away from this stuff into relationships that are for the highest and greatest good of the community. So it's like he's giving advice to the younger masculine. Somebody's in a Tower. We've got indecision. They might not know what to do. Whoever's in this Tower, and it could be these younger masculines, it's like things are falling apart for them. The old plan failed. They fumbled the merchandise of the Earth Angels, and they're scrambling around. It did not go how they thought it was going to go. And so these younger masculines, they're upset. But we've got the divine masculine here offering a new perspective. So they were fighting for your inheritance, or for this inheritance, for your life path. And it looks like they may have been defeated. They were trying to get it, using theft and abusive relationships. And it's like the King of Swords is trying to figure out like a new way of communicating. How can he get through to them that this isn't necessarily the right path, that's going to bring them success. So we've got honesty and guilt. So it's like there's a confession. It's like they're confessing. They're being truthful and honest about their guilt during this previous behavior. They could be making confessions regarding the trickery. The awareness, it's not hidden in the shadows. It's not a sneak attack anymore. It's like everybody sees. We got a 9 of Swords nightmare here. A lot of trauma and despair for a Emperor reversed, a tyrant dominator. He might be behaving a little reckless. We've got happiness in the reverse. It's a happiness hater. They're not happy with the results of what they've done. They're afraid. They could be afraid of your acceptance, or they're afraid and they have to accept the things that they cannot change. And that is, so they're not happy. They have to accept the things they cannot change. They're in fear here. of your Four of Wands union, your freedom. You've earned it. You've worked real hard for it. You made an investment of your own self, and they were trying to take it away from you and then claim it. But that was your work to come into love, to a harmonious, beautiful, loving community. Death. You're free. You worked with sustainable results and brought an ending to this scenario. Again, in the near future, we have death. You're leaving home. These ones are talking about, boy, they want to unalive divine feminine so bad, and they want to step in wearing the memories, like this nebulizer transference of memory crap, and then they want to, harvest endorphins and shit like that. We got denial. Death, end of a cycle. You're leaving home, and we've got denial. Somebody's in denial about it. They don't think that, like, they've been so accustomed for thousands of years, they've been so accustomed to claiming the merchandise that belongs to the earth angel, or the one who ascended through impossible life paths. They're so accustomed to claiming that merchandise that they're in denial. They're like, whoa, we got death, death, death. And we got chariot here ×2. You're moving forward in a new direction. That's balanced and harmonized. You bring a sense of perfect balance and harmony. Somebody is in low energy. They're having raw emotion. They're having doubt. They're struggling with their pride. Regarding your marriage connection here. Unified love. They call you the unifier. They're upset. And they're not your friend. They're not your friend. They've proven themselves not to be your friend by this Five of Swords crap. The Hierophant is here, the Most High God, or somebody definitely in the spiritual ranking, high upper ranking. And there's celebration here for the community. And gratitude. And gratitude. So there's leaving home here, Two of Wands. And we've got King of Pentacles. What's going on with the King of Pentacles, please, Spirit? Humor. Focusing on the lighter side of life. So there's a change here regarding loneliness or you being alone. Somebody wants forgiveness for blaming you for what they have done here. They're envious of you. So your mind is very strong. You're very courageous. And they need to surrender their need to control your mind. You're not going to fall into fear. You're here, and that's that. And they're under judgment here. You're restoring peace. You want to release all of that negative energy that has been harassing you and siphoning off of your life and your effort for centuries. Laughing and laughing and laughing while they blame. They're in regret. They're in regret here because those people who are all about relationships that are for the highest good are moving into their freedom. And there are people here that want to claim the memories of somebody else, but I'll just tell you, there's already spiritual connections and bonds that have occurred. And just because you dress up in somebody else's memory doesn't mean that the guts of it, the inner, persevering, resilient nature will be in the one trying to dress up in the memory. They will never, ever, ever be able to accomplish an impossible life path. All they can do is dress up in a memory of it. You try to stick them on an impossible life path or give them an impossible task, they won't be able to do it. Even though the memory says they can, they won't be able to do it because it does not live in them. So you're patient, you know that everything happens in divine order. You persevered by trusting the inner voice. And it may not have even been a voice. It could have just been the soul bond that you have with the upper divine realm. Because these ones were tapping the mind and doing all this crazy stuff with the mind, trying to get people convicted of being insane or incapable or irrational. You are here in service to the collective, and they wanted to make it sound as though you were irresponsible, and that's just not the truth. They're irresponsible. They cannot buy diapers for the children that they bring into this world. They don't offer them any moral or ethical teachings. It's just crazy. So now they're in doubt here. They're in doubt because they were bringing adversity to your love, and they failed to move against your health. They failed to attain your temple. You're caring, or maybe they have failed to care for their own damn health. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. Fortunately, we've got beautiful family from everywhere, and it's true. I mean, I don't know. There should be some kind of a test, you know. I mean, if somebody actually walked an impossible path, then there should be some kind of a test, not just a memory, but like a freaking soul memory, you know, not just a mental memory, but the soul. Connection with the divine, because there's been tamperings big time. Somebody's out of energy. They've missed their opportunity. They're in a tower because of the growth in consciousness and awareness of what's been going on, and lots of people are talking about it. So this awareness is growing regarding what they've been doing here. There's a reunion here. Oh yeah, because there's a reunion. There's a reunion between these beings here, and there's prideful people are all upset. They were a false friend, and they're sick. Look, this is a priest who is sick. They can't stop thinking about love, that you are love, and now they want to like pray. I guess maybe they're a widower, so maybe they're praying or something. They're in a tower. The King of Swords is here, communicating with the Page of Swords, trying to get confessions, have a communication, you know, this is what happened, why did it happen? There's some kind of guilt, and they're being honest about their guilt. So they were trying to gain the fruits of this labor. They wanted a nice life, so they decided that this was the way to do it. Now, I don't know, we got indecision here. They don't know, they're not sure what to do. They're in a tower, everybody's talking. Their old boss still thinks that there's a way to get it. They don't know what to do. Look, pleasure seeker in the reverse. So there's no more pleasure seeking. And we got death in the reverse. So they don't know what to do. They don't want to die. They're not able to seek pleasure anymore. They were trying to win at all costs this financial independence. They're being honest about their guilt. So there's some kind of confession. And we got room. So there's something in the mind, in the mental body. They might be being honest about their guilt regarding what they have done in the mental body. Like, what have they been doing? What kind of forbidden magic, or what kind of, how have they been doing that? Like, confess it, right? So somebody's in a Nine of Swords despair, this trauma. There's an Emperor in the reverse here, a tyrant dominator. He's not happy. He's afraid, or he's in fear. He's not happy. He needs to accept, or maybe he's in fear because of your acceptance. They're thinking about the merchant. They needed the Earth Angels merchandise, which is their life force, their light, their happiness. They could not get happiness, so there's no happiness. They're in fear. There's acceptance here, so they're afraid of your acceptance in this Four of Wands energy, this whole community. So you've been accepted into the community. You've been brought into the fold because of your hard work here. So you've got sustainable results, and this is bringing an end to this. There's death here. Because of a reunion, you have been reunited. Now these ones, they're messing around with the energies, so there's not too much they can do to the mental body anymore, but they can excite the waters of the body and then try to have an effect on the what is that called? Parasympathetic nervous system, the one that regulates the heart and the pulse and all of that. So there's death here. You're leaving home, you're making travel plans. This is an end of a cycle. These ones are being denied. They are prideful. So there's a denial for the prideful, or the prideful are in denial. Take it as it resonates. The chariot is here twice, so you are moving forward in a new direction, which is balanced and harmonious. And somebody is absolutely not happy about that. They're in low energy. Strength card is in the reverse. They failed in their endeavor to move against your Two of Cups union. They're not your friend. They're trying to say they are your friend, but they're not your friend. Old woman in the reverse. Could be a shape-shifting woman in low energy. Struggling because of your partnership, of your reunion. We got the Hierophant here, Most High God, and a celebration within the community that is very filled with gratitude. We do have a foe here. Thankful for life and the opportunities that it presents, even those brought on by your enemy, because it brought you a not that they can take responsibility, because what you made of the circumstance is your decision, especially given all of the mental and emotional and energetic manipulation. You chose to rise above it, and you chose to walk the impossible path and make it. That had nothing to do with the foe. However, you probably do have gratitude for the experience because you discovered something about yourself. So there is leaving home, King of Cups, making travel plans, choosing to focus on the lighter side of life. We have Servant. We have joyfulness and frivolity. So there's a lot of happiness here. This King of Pentacles could be here focusing on the lighter side of life in service, which is how it ought to be. You know, nobody in a balanced state is a servant. In a harmonious state, we are of service, you know, assisting each other. So we've got joyfulness and frivolity. You've earned your wings. You're taking flight. Taking flight. Somebody is suffering a misfortune because they were trying to steal from the wife, this faithful wife. A young woman, there's a surprise coming up about this young woman, and there's a lover waiting. There's going to be a constant flow of money, and this soldier is sick. They had to go to the doctor. They're in despair. Whatever happened, they're an enemy of yours. See, the sweetheart's getting a fortune coming their way, and these ones are getting the letter. They're going to prison. Yeah, they need consolation over this house, or over this whatever this is. And this priest is a false. Ooh. So we've got love here. This priest is sick. This priest is sick over the love that you're experiencing here. And this was a false friend of the Lord. A false friend of the Lord was trying to bring misfortune to his wife. Now, there's a new beginning because there's a reunion. They couldn't do it. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. They've been trying to drive. They've been trying to drive their cyberware, their Wi-Fi, messaging, you know, kind of getting a bad mood stuff. It kind of hit me earlier, and it was the same with the energy too, like agitation, you know. I always feel better when I can sit here and tell you this story. So people are panicking. They're in a tower. People are talking about your growth, or people are talking a lot, and there has been an expansion in awareness, in consciousness and awareness about what has been happening here, what people have been doing in order to gain a decent life, you know, in order to gain a blessing. King of Swords is trying to find a new way to communicate with the younger adult males. They don't know what to do. We got death in the reverse. They weren't able to unalive you. They don't want to be unalived. There's pleasure seekers in the reverse. They were unsuccessful. They're in a tower here. We got homeless. They don't want to be cast away. So it's like the King of Swords knows the truth about what's going on. He's offering sage advice to this younger masculine who doesn't know what to do. They don't want the death penalty. They don't want to be cast away, but they can't be a pleasure seeker. They didn't make it. So it's like they're defeated here with the Five of Swords. They were fighting for this life of luxury, and now it's like they're being honest about their guilt regarding the mental body. Yeah, causing danger with the mental body. Trying to get this life of luxury. So there's confessions. This tyrant is in a nightmare. They're not happy. They're in fear. They have to accept the things that cannot change. They're thinking about this merchant. They owe the merchant. They did not get the Earth Angel's merchandise. They weren't able to claim it. Robbery. They're thinking about this merchant. Maybe this is a merchant that's all up in their thoughts. So they've been robbed. They didn't get their stuff, man. So this is a tyrant who's in a nightmare. This is a merchant who's all up in their thoughts. They were trying to rob you, but they don't have happiness and they're afraid they have to accept the things that cannot change. They didn't get it. You've got your freedom and you are in this connection here, this reunion. You have worked very hard with sustainable results and you brought an end to this cycle. They have technologies and they have methodologies that they've been talking about, and they've just been speaking. We got stubborn. Somebody doesn't want it to get over. But we got death in the near future too. Leaving home. You're leaving, and we've got this prideful, haughty person that's in denial. It's like they don't want you to have it. They want to obtain your vessel, and they want to erase your memories and put them in somebody else, and then let them move on so that they can still have presence and space here. We've got aid, mercy, kindness. They're being denied. They're in denial. There's denial of the prideful. So there's death. You're leaving home, and you're denying the prideful people who need aid. Like, they need your charity right now, and you're denying them charity. It's like, no, you're not helping them, because they tried to unalive you and take your memories again. You got the chariot here of victory here. You're moving forward in a new direction of balance and perfect harmony. Somebody's not happy about this at all, because they've lost and they're losing everything. There's in strength reversed, low and death. So they're losing everything. There is death here. There could be some serious consequences for what they've been planning recently. They're all up in their emotion. They're struggling with their emotion regarding this partnership, this reunion here. They want to keep you two separated. They can't have you together because you're screwing up their whole thing. I mean, this tyrant is in a freaking mess. They're not your friend. This is like it's an old woman, but it's in the reverse. Like she's a pretender, a shapeshifter or something, masquerading as a younger woman or something. You're not dealing with an older woman. She's not your friend. We got trapped. They're struggling with their pride. They're weak. They're being made weak because of your partnership. They're not your friend. You're not dealing with this old woman anymore. There's a trap here. She tried to trap you. She fell into a trap. She's getting separated. She's getting separated. And this is a mask wearer who is now all stressed out and having to deal with some kind of dangerous thing here. Yeah. So yeah, they're having a hard time right now. This thing, whatever these arrangements were that her bros were gonna set her up with, it didn't work out. It could be a trap. Maybe this old woman wants to masquerade as a young woman in order to trap somebody in a marriage connection. Mask wear, bringing natural disaster. You got to be careful about this. This person is all up in their head. We got bound to her commitments. Okay, so maybe you don't have to be careful. This person is furious because you're reaching your goals. So yeah, you don't have to worry about this person. They're getting separated out of the community. They fell into a trap. This mask wearer is in a natural disaster, stressed out, bound to their commitments, and furious that you've reached your goals. Furious that you've reached your goals. They're so mad. They want to apologize. They're frightened because of your destiny. Or maybe they're frightened about their fate. you know, because they took bribes to make you sick and lonely, and now they get to go be that. The Hierophant is here. In the hopes and fears, there's a celebration, and there's a lot of things to be grateful for. We got a foe here. Though we know the foe is furious, the foe, and the strategy. So you could be grateful or thankful for the foe's strategy. You've learned a lot here. Justice is being served. You've learned a lot. I mean, they really did pull out all the stops. So you learned a lot. You know, you survived the impossible path, and you know, they really want one of their own chosen ones to dress up in the memories and be that. But it looks to me like they've been trying to bring a misfortune to the wife so that they can steal this faithful person's life path, the life path of this young woman. They could be surprised they're waiting for this lover and money, and they're in despair. I don't know what's going on, Spirit. Again, they want to apologize and they're frightened about this. We've got so there's a leaving home. There is some travel plans being made by a King of Pentacles here. He's focused on the lighter side of life. He's here in service. There is joyfulness and frivolity. He's got his wings. And somebody wants to compromise. These third wheel enemies want to compromise. Somebody wants to compromise. Maybe there has been a compromise. What's with this compromise, Spirit? What's with the compromise? History. Somebody wants to compromise over the memories, over the history. Maybe there is a compromise here. He gets his wings, whatever that was. He's rejected the dominator. So he's reached his goals, and there's savings there and triumph. So it could be that whatever it was, he's rejected the dominator. We got the dominator tyrant right here that's in their thoughts about stuff. Take it as it resonates. I'm going to have to get rid of these cards pretty soon. They're about ready to split. When they did the foil here on this side here, it kind of cracked the card in the same place on all of the cards. I'm going to have to get a new deck. I don't know if maybe I can put a clear coat of nail polish on that and fix that up or something. Maybe. So people are panicking. There's some folks panicking. They're in a tower. There's a lot of talk about stuff happening about this blessing. What's going on with this blessing? There's a lot of enlightenment happening right now. Growth and consciousness and awareness. And we've got travel. So it could be that the blessing is traveling. It could be that news is traveling, bringing about a freaking tower. The King of Swords is trying to offer sage advice to the Page of Swords. This younger masculine, they don't know what to do. They don't want this to end. They could be challenged. They were not able to bring about an ending. That was the whole goal here. They were not able to get their pleasure. They don't want to be cast away. They want to check in. They want to be welcomed. But it's like there's some things, there's some sage advice. This person doesn't know what to do. They're like, holy moly, come on, let's check in. Let's get welcomed here. So it looks to me like they've been defeated. They were trying to fight for the fruits of your labor. They're guilty, and they're being honest about what they did in the mental body to cause accidents, to cause danger. So there's confessions, and we've got revenge. revenge. They felt like they were needing revenge. They want to get revenge. Maybe vengeance is going to be taken out on them. They're in a tower. It won't stop. There's like death in the reverse. It's not going to stop. They could be challenged because you have been welcomed. You're checking in. You're out of here. They were wanting to get revenge. That brought danger. There's a nightmare here for the Emperor reversed. There's no happiness. They could not steal your happiness. They're afraid. They got to accept the things that cannot change. They could be a merchant thinking about a robbery. Maybe they feel as though they've been robbed. They're desperate. They're desperate. They're in despair here with the 9 of Swords. This tyrant is in despair. We could be experiencing a lot of real crazy stuff out there as this explodes. So they're expecting you're free. You're free. You're in this community. There is a reunion here. You've worked very hard. You've persevered, and this is over. And these ones are very stubborn. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Everybody's talking about your growth. Everybody's talking about this growth, this expansion. There's an end of a cycle here. An end of a cycle. You're leaving home, and there's denial for the prideful ones. You're not giving them any aid. There's mercy. You're denying them mercy. There's denial for the prideful people. They need your aid. They need your help. So now they want to apologize. But they're hiding their true intentions. And they don't actually care about your well-being. So yeah, they need to apologize only because they need your help. You're in your chariot. The chariot's here ×2. You bring a perfect state of harmony to your world, and that's what you're moving into. Somebody's really not happy about that. They're suffering losses, and there's actual death here. They may be uncertain as to what to do. Excuse me. Laugh. This isn't funny. It's not funny anymore. It's not funny anymore. They're in their raw emotion regarding this marriage connection. There's an old woman here. You're not dealing with an old woman. This old woman is trying to act as though she's not. They're not your friend, so there's no friendship with this old woman. There's a separation here. There's a trap. Natural disaster. The mask wearer is stressed out, bound to their commitments, and they're furious because you've reached the top of your mountain. You've reached your goals. We've got imposter here. There's an imposter that is absolutely furious that you have reached your goals. They really wanted your mind, your memories, your life. They want to step in. They're in danger here. They're in danger, and they're furious because you're going on an adventure. They could not steal your life path. The Hierophant is here. It could be the Most High God. There's a celebration. It's things to be thankful for. For the foe, the strategy of the foe. Justice is being served. Yes, the foe whose strategy was to mess with your mind. Justice is being served. They're an imposter, and they're furious. God is bringing justice to the mind-effing foe. We got secret. It could be secret justice. It could be a huge, the secret. There is something huge I'm dying to share with you. There's travel plans for a King of Pentacles. He's focusing on the lighter side of life. He's here in service. There's joyfulness and frivolity. He's got his wings. And then there's compromise regarding memory. Big favor. So there's somebody here. He's got his wings. He's out of here, man. And somebody is here wanting to compromise. You've got this third party from the past who wants to compromise because they need a big favor. But he's leaving. He's leaving. Somebody from the past wants to compromise because they need a big favor. They need a loan. They need a loan from this King of Pentacles. So they're like, hey, bro, don't go. They're very unfriendly and hostile. They want this money. They're greedy, and they're trying to get this King of Pentacles stuck, man. He's got his wings. He's happy. He's out of here. But you got these third parties that are all up in his business from the past. They want a big favor. They need a loan. They're hostile about it. And they're greedy, and they know that this King of Pentacles is an empathic person. He cares about people, but they want to sabotage him. So, okay, King of Pentacles, just look out. You got some third parties from your past who need a loan. They're very greedy. They want to sabotage you. They want to sabotage you. You're here in service. You're a very empathic person. You care about people. It's your nature to help people. And these people don't care about you at all. They're hostile. They just want you to stick around because they want to suck off your wallet. They want your wallet. Bring your wallet back here, King of Pentacles. You're leaving home. You're making travel plans. You're happy. You got your wings. You're happy. You're here in service. You got third parties from the past wanting to come up and dip into your inheritance. They're jealous. Somebody's panicking. They're in a tower. Everybody's talking about this growth. There's travel plans being made for the blessing of an empath. For the empath, the people who actually care. This dude's an empath. He cares about people. And he's got these third-party leeches coming around wanting to hold him back. Hey, bro, give me a loan. Give me a favor. But that would just be a cord, a connection, an agreement, a relationship. It just wouldn't be wise at this point. King of Swords is here looking for new ways to communicate with the younger masculines. They don't know what to do. We got death in the reverse. They weren't able to unalive you. They don't want to be unalived. They did not get their pleasure seekers. Maybe they weren't able to get their pleasure. They could not get the fruits of your labor. They don't want to be cast away. Maybe they're challenged because you weren't cast away. Death did not befall you. You weren't cast away. They're not able to get any pleasure out of this. They could be challenged because you are the empath, the blessing, and you're leaving. You've been welcomed into a new space, and you're checking in. Look, we got cult leader in the reverse. It's like, okay, so there's no cult leader. We're not checking in with the cult leader. Nope, we're not doing that. We're just not bringing that forward. We're not moving the cult leader into our future. We're moving into harmony and balance, yes, as unicorns. So they've been defeated. They've been fighting for your life of luxury. They are guilty, and they're telling the truth over what they have done in the mental space. There could be danger and vengeance delivered here with this tower. It's happening. People are panicking. Yep. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Yeah. There's vengeance and danger here. Stay in your lane. Do not get in the path of this empath. This tyrant is in despair. They're having a trauma, a nightmare. There's no happiness. They are afraid. They have to accept the things that cannot change. They're getting very desperate about this robbery. This is a merchant who's all up in their thoughts, or they're thinking about a merchant. We got vampire in the reverse. So this vampire, man, what? Oh. They weren't able to satisfy this vampire. You're not a vampire. They can't feed you to the vampire. They robbed a vampire. They want to hide it. They're desperate. They don't want to be a vampire. They want to be something else. They were trying to get out of Emperor's South Node energy. They can't feed. They can't feed. They can't feed on your happiness. They think it's unfair. They feel robbed because you got free and you're in this reunion, in this marriage. You've been accepted into, you've been welcomed, embraced, and folded into this new circumstance. Everybody's talking in the grapevine about your growth or about this awareness, this consciousness expansion here. You worked very hard and for sustainable results. You have brought an ending to this business here. Somebody doesn't want to hear it. They absolutely don't want to hear it, but it's over. These arrogant ones, they still want you as a snack. They still want you as a snack, and you're saying, you know what, just go F off. We're not going to do that. This is a black square. They do the least to gain the most. They're stubborn. They don't want to hear about it. They still want to do you harm, and they still want to feast on your mind and your memories and your essence and your freaking endorphins and your energy, and they want your genetics and all that stuff because you're special. You're a unicorn. They want to be seen as a unicorn while they feed you to this thing because they're a narcissistic, jealous person. They could be a shadow demon. They're triggered. They're triggered. Trimming. Why did I say trimming? Trimming. I don't know what that means. So there's a death here. You're leaving home. You're out of here. There is a denial for the prideful people. They need your aid. They need your mercy. They're apologizing, but they're hiding their true intentions. They actually don't care about your well-being. You're not triggered. They can't trigger you. Maybe you got aid, you're getting mercy. They need your charity. They need your charity, and they're hiding their true intentions. They don't actually care, and it's like you're not triggered. You're like, it's over. It's over. There's death here. I'm leaving home. Denial to the prideful people. They need your help. They're apologizing, but they don't actually care, and you're untriggered. You're untriggered. You could be an oracle announcing stuff. You're talking about it. It could be that this narcissist is like, that's a conspiracy theory. This is a privileged troll who's trolling a self-caring starseed. Yeah, I guess there's a warning flag because they need to go away. They need to go away. They trauma bonded, wanted to snack on this. These feral love bombing, gaslighting people, but the unicorn gets the land back. So yeah. You got the chariot here twice. You're moving forward into a world of perfect harmony and balance. Somebody is not happy about this. They're suffering loss and damage. This is not a laughing matter. This is death. This is the end. So this is a trauma bonded individual, and they cannot get out of this. Like there's nothing they can do about it. They can't tell you to F off. They can't say no. There's death. So somebody is struggling right now. They're feeling very weak because of this partnership, this connection here. You're not dealing with an old woman, or there's a shapeshifter old woman that is not your friend. They are being separated from you. They've fallen into a trap. They are at risk. They're a mask wearer. They're a pretender. They're stressed out. They got stuff going on in their head. They're bound to the commitments that they made trying to take your place. Those commitments that they wanted you bound to. So they're furious. This imposter is furious because you have reached your goals. You've got billionaire status. People know who you are. And this shadow demon is freaking jealous of your legend status, your legendary status. You know, this is just a fashion witch. This is just a fashion witch simp, and you're a freaking unicorn. So, and you're getting the land back. You're getting the land back. You know, you got love bombing, gaslighting people out here, feral people who just been snacking on you, and that's just crap, you know? So you're announcing it, and it's like, hey, we're gonna end this real quick. You know, and they're mad. They're real mad about it. Look, we got tinfoil hat. So not everything you read is the truth. I mean, these people have spread a conspiracy theory. They may feel that it is. Like they were trying to spread falsity about you, and they still could be. Maybe they feel that your win is a conspiracy theory, but they're backwards from every reasonable thing anyway. The Hierophant is here, and there's a celebration within the community. Great gratitude and thankfulness. This foe who is strategizing by messing with the minds of actual divine beings is getting justice for the secrets that they have kept, or for the secrets that they have stolen. That intellectual property of the Most High God, and then they used it they twisted it and used it in a forbidden way. So there's a whole lot of stuff happening right here. And of course, they're really mad at the oracles that are telling the story. They want it to remain hidden. They're really upset. Look, love bombing and gaslighting. So yeah, they would love bomb people, mess with their mind, love bomb them and gaslight them, and then get in with them tight and then take their stuff or do whatever it is that they would do. So they would twist that up to get access to the mental body of these love bombing people, right? They had to have a relationship in order to strategize from the other person's intellect. Like they would just get into their mental body. You know, once you get a relationship, you can do that. According to the old cycle and the old rules, apparently that was a thing, but things are different now because the truth is known. And these ones, they don't like you. They think you're a bitch, you know, because you're telling the story, and they're so mad, they want to take you out. There could be some kind of danger here. So be careful, Starseed. You're getting trolled by a privileged narcissist who wants your identity. They want to feed this oracle as a snack to their, or maybe they just want to eat you because that's what they do with humans. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. This shadow demon wants this billionaire status. They're trying for it. They want it. They're very mad. Yeah. So this King of Pentacles is a starseed. He's leaving home. He's making travel plans. He's feels for other people. He wants to help them. He's here in service. He's a happy guy. And he's got his wings. He's very happy, joyous. But he's got some third wheel enemies here who want to compromise about their history in what they did in the past. They need a big favor. They need a loan. They're greedy. They're unfriendly. They're feeling very hostile, and they're trying to sabotage this fellow. This starseed unicorn legend. So be aware. You got a stalker here, or perhaps many. There's at least 3 people on that card. So they're all up in your business. They are all up in your business. You got your wings, you're ready to go, and they're right there wanting to latch on. Smile. You're on candid camera. So somebody's frustrated, they're panicking, they missed their opportunity, they're having a tower, everything is a disaster. Everybody's talking about this growth, this conscious awareness of what's been going on here. There's an empath who is a blessing, or maybe this is what people are becoming aware of, what's been happening to the empath who is a blessing. There's travel here. There's like news is traveling fast about the empath, or the empath is taken off. They're taking their blessing and going somewhere. We've got displacement. There's displacement, a leaving. There's a leaving due to some kind of luck. So you're lucky. You're lucky. These ones are getting displaced out of the empath's frequency, their energy. They're traveling. They're going somewhere. King of Swords is really trying to talk sense to the younger page masculines. They don't want this to end. They weren't able to end you. They don't know what to do. They don't want to be cast away. You're not homeless. They didn't get the pleasure they were seeking. There's no dealing with no cult leader. You're being welcomed in, checked in. So it could very well be that he's trying to say, hey, look, if you don't want the death penalty, if you don't want to get kicked out of the house, you're going to have to say you're not going to deal with the cult leader, and there's no pleasure-seeking activities with this stuff, and then you'll be welcome. Or it could just be that this empath is the blessing, and they've been welcome and check in, and there's no more dealing with the cult leader. Take it as it resonates. But it does look to me like this King of Swords is trying to talk sense to this younger here. Negative influences. Yeah, so this is a negative influence. This cult leader is a negative influence. No more dealing with that. And then you'll be welcome. But so it looks like he was fighting with this over this this life of luxury, the fruits of your labor. He's been defeated. It didn't work out. He's guilty. He's being honest about what happened in the mind to cause accidents for people. There could be a vengeance, or maybe that's what they were due. They thought it was vengeance, or maybe they're afraid of vengeance. Maybe there is some kind of vengeance. They're being told to stay in their own lane. Teamwork, scavengers. So the team that has been scavenging off this empath, they got to stay in their own lane. They've been trying to take vengeance out on this person. This empath, it's an empath with blessings, and they wanted to get on revenge on an empath with blessings. Why? Because they're psychic, because they feel, because they can sense energy and transmute it. Why do they want vengeance? Maybe they're in danger because of what they did. They were bringing danger to somebody. Now they're told, this whole teamwork of scavengers, they got to stay in their own lane. It doesn't look like this younger is he's not going to take it. He doesn't want the offer. They're in a tower. They're being displaced. We got this tyrant dominator in the recent past. They're in despair. They weren't able to harvest your happiness. They could be in fear. They got to accept the things they cannot change. This could be a merchant in their thoughts, or they're all up in their thoughts about a merchant. We got vampire in the reverse. They weren't able to vampire you. Robbery. We got robbery. So we got unfairness. This could be somebody who's a vampire. You're not dealing with vampires. We've got desperate here. They're desperate to feed. They need to rob somebody. They're in fear. They got to accept the things they cannot change. They want to be accepted by you. This is a vampire. They might be pretending they're not a vampire with the thoughts of robbing you. They're desperate here. They're all in upheaval. They could be causing upheaval. They want to like get all of the attention off themselves. They want to create chaos so that they can go in and start collecting. The more noise there is, I don't know. There's displacement and upheaval. You've got your Four of Wands reunion here. You've worked very hard for this sustainable result. You've brought an end to this little scenario here. People are talking through the grapevine about your growth, and there's a black square here that is stubborn. They don't want to hear it. They refuse to let it go. And there could be death here for them if they don't let it go. There's death here. There's death here. They want revenge. They want to hurt this starseed bad. They want your abundance. This is the end of their abundance. You're bringing an end to their abundance because of this reunion. And they're right here up in your business, King of Pentacles. They want your legendary unicorn starseed status. They want your money. They want to sabotage you. They're greedy. They're unfriendly. They're hostile. You really got to watch yourself. They're coming in. They're like, hey, let's be friends, you know, and they need a big favor. Death is here. This is over. It's an end of a cycle. You're leaving home. You're out of here. There's denial for those haughty people who are prideful. You've got aid here or mercy. Maybe you have been aided or they need your charity. So they're apologizing, but they're hiding their true intentions. They don't actually care about your well-being. And it's like, so there's a community here. You're untriggered. Perhaps you are in the community, or they're saying this to a community of people who they need the kindness and the charity of a community of people that are untriggered. This is over, and they can't mess with them, even though they might be trying to mess with the mind and the energy and the emotions and all of that. There's a community here who's not triggered. There's a chariot here, so you're moving on and away from that. You're very determined to bring about balance and harmony. Absolute, perfect harmony to your world. These ones, they're not happy about that. They're losing. This is not a laughing matter. This is death. This is a big ending. And you've got a trauma bonded person who can't tell you to F off. It's like it's done. It's just, they don't want you to tell them to F off, but it's over. You want harmony. You want harmony. And we got survival in the reverse. It's like there's death. You're leaving this situation means there's death. They lose everything. And they're desperate to stop you. So they want to do a thing, you know? They can't tell you to get gone. And it's like they're having low energy. They're very struggling right now over your marriage connection, your reunion. There's an old woman here who is not your friend. So you're not dealing with this old woman. They're struggling with their emotional body. Like they're being separated. They're falling into a trap, or they want to set a trap. It could be that there is a woman here that's masquerading, but they're not your friend. But I don't think so, because they are the ones who are furious that you have reached your goals. This is an imposter who is furious that you have reached your goals. They've fallen into a trap. They're wearing a mask. They're having a natural disaster. They're stressed out in the head. They're bound to their commitments. You reached your goals, and this imposter is furious. So yeah, this is a shapeshifter, old woman or something. They're not your friend. You're not dealing with them. Yeah, trickery. So there's conspiracy theory. This person is spreading rumors. It could be they're doing some kind of trickery here. They're committed to an empty nest. They don't want these unions. They don't want these beautiful starseed families to come together and bear children. They could be communicating at a distance using their gifts, trying to get insights here. They're afraid because whatever they're doing is rolling right off of you, or maybe they're afraid of what rolled off of you in the past when they were trying to dominate your heart bond in your sacred space. Yeah, because everything was seen, and you've got your freedom here from these self-interested ghosts. Yeah, who are trying to fight you and mimic you, battle. You resisted with play. You're an anomaly. Yeah, they were doing some shady stuff and trying to distract you. You're a starseed. Look, you gotta watch out. Play. The Hierophants here, there is a celebration within the community. Great gratitude and thankfulness that this love-bombing, gaslighting enemy who was strategizing by messing with people's minds in secret, justice is happening. Justice is happening. It's time to play. It's time to play. Justice is happening regarding the love-bombing, gaslighting, mind-effer foe. So, you're making plans, travel plans. You're a King of Pentacles, Starseed, Legend, Unicorn. You're empathic. So you're a divine transmitter receiver. You care and you feel things. So you bring a lighthearted attitude here. You're here in service. You're happy, joy, frivolity. You've gained your wings. You do have a third-party enemy here, though, that wants to talk about the history, the memories. They need a big favor. They need a loan. They're unfriendly. They are being hostile right now. They're greedy, and they want to sabotage you. They're up to mischief. They're here to cause mischief for you. You got your chariot right here. They want to stop you. They need you to create some kind of a bond. They need your friendship, your partnership. They need to get on your damn ship. Gifts. They want to sabotage your gifts, man. You're a Starseed, Unicorn, Legend. They want to sabotage your gifts. They need to get on your ship. They need a friendship, a relationship, a partnership. They're all up in your business here. Bad. And they're hostile, greedy, wanting to sabotage you. They need a loan. They need you to exchange something with them so they can dominate you. They're afraid. Whatever they sent out trying to dominate you in the past, it's like rolling off of you. Yeah, they're afraid because they're committed. They're afraid of their commitments. What they did from a distance, communicating here into the mirror to cause mischief. Oh. They were warned, and they're in anticipation of your protection. And they need to be covered by you. They need to be covered by your grace. They need to be covered by your grace. They're afraid of your protection. Yeah. You're going in a new direction, and they're alone. They got to deal with this balance in the night all by themselves. They're making preparations. They're in grief. They're in grief because you're soaring. You're going. You're leaving. Well, I hope that this brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew, and I will see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.